the midst of chaos, a storm rages outside, but inside there's a calm. Have you ever wondered how some people navigate the whirlwind while others get lost? Picture this. Distractions are everywhere, from buzzing notifications to the noise of everyday life. Yet there's a secret weapon that can anchor us. What if I told you that amidst the chaos, there lies an opportunity for clarity? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind howling, the waves crashing below. It's easy to get swept away, but those who harness their focus become the masters of their fate. Ever felt overwhelmed by the chaos around you? The truth is, the ability to concentrate is not just a skill, it's a superpower. But how do we tap into this power? What if the key lies in ancient wisdom, waiting for us to discover it? As the world spins faster and faster, we need to reset our attention. Can we find a way to transform the noise into a symphony of purpose? Let's explore how we can sharpen our focus and thrive, even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. The journey begins now. Before we begin, don't forget to like our content, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. Defining priorities. You know, life can sometimes feel like a whirlwind, right? One moment you're cruising along, and the next, you're overwhelmed with a million things tugging at your sleeves. That's where the importance of defining priorities comes into play. It's crucial to sit down and figure out what truly matters amidst the chaos. I've found that creating a clear list of priorities can be a game changer. It's like having a roadmap. It guides you through the noise and helps you focus on what's essential. When I first started this process, I was surprised at how liberating it felt. I began by jotting down everything on my mind, from work deadlines to personal commitments. Once I had everything out there, I started categorizing them into what was urgent and what could wait. This exercise not only helped me see the bigger picture, but also relieved a lot of the mental clutter that was weighing me down. It's amazing how much clarity can come from simply organizing your thoughts. Another thing I noticed is that having defined priorities gives me a sense of purpose. I wake up each day knowing exactly what I need to tackle, which reduces the feeling of being lost in a sea of tasks. Of course, it's important to be flexible and revisit that list regularly. Priorities can shift, and being adaptable is key. But having that initial foundation makes it easier to adjust as needed without feeling completely off course. One tip that really helps me is breaking down my priorities into manageable chunks. Instead of looking at my day as a mountain of tasks, I focus on just a few key items that I want to accomplish. This way, I can celebrate small victories throughout the day, which keeps my motivation high. Honestly, it's all about finding that balance between what needs immediate attention and what can be addressed later. Lastly, I've learned that sharing my priorities with a friend or colleague can provide accountability. Sometimes just verbalizing what you plan to focus on can reinforce your commitment. Plus, they might offer insights or suggestions that can enhance your approach. Prioritizing is a personal journey, but it doesn't have to be a lonely one. Once I got a handle on my priorities, the next step was to establish a routine. Let me tell you, having a daily structure can be incredibly grounding. It's like having a rhythm to your day that makes everything flow just a little bit smoother. I started by mapping out my usual activities and identifying where I could introduce more consistency. The goal here was to reduce decision fatigue and create a sense of predictability. At first, it felt a bit rigid, but I quickly realized that routines provide a framework for my day. I set specific times for waking up, working, exercising, and winding down. This consistency not only keeps me organized, but also signals to my brain when it's time to switch gears. I've found that when I stick to my routine, I'm much more productive. It's almost like my body and mind get into a groove, making it easier to tackle tasks without much thought. Of course, I also made room for flexibility within my routine. Life happens, and sometimes things don't go as planned. Having a structured routine doesn't mean I can't adjust when needed. For instance, if something urgent comes up, I know I can shuffle things around without feeling completely thrown off. This adaptability has become an essential part of my routine. One aspect I've incorporated is setting aside time for self-reflection. At the end of each day, I take a few moments to evaluate what went well and what could be improved. This practice not only helps me adjust my routine, but also allows me to celebrate my wins, no matter how small. It's a simple but effective way to stay connected with my goals. Lastly, I've noticed that routines promote healthier habits. When I allocate specific times for exercise, meal prep, and relaxation, I'm more likely to stick to them. There's something comforting about knowing that these activities are a part of my day, just like work. Establishing a routine has been one of the most beneficial changes I've made for my overall well-being. In my quest for organization and clarity, I stumbled upon mindfulness, and wow, what a revelation. Practicing mindfulness has significantly changed the way I approach my day-to-day life. It's all about being present in the moment, which can be surprisingly challenging, especially when distractions are lurking everywhere. I started with simple breathing exercises, focusing on my breath to ground myself. It's amazing how just a few minutes of deep breathing can reset my mind and reduce anxiety. One of my favorite techniques is the body scan. I lie down, close my eyes, and slowly bring awareness to each part of my body, starting from my toes and working my way up. This practice helps me release tension that I often carry without even realizing it. It's a great reminder to check in with myself and acknowledge how I'm feeling physically and emotionally. It's surprising how much clarity comes from this simple act of self-awareness. Mindfulness also influences how I handle stressors throughout the day. When I feel overwhelmed, I take a step back and practice being fully present. Instead of spiraling into anxious thoughts about what's next, I focus on what I'm doing at that moment. Whether it's working on a project or having a conversation, giving my full attention makes a world of difference. It's like flipping a switch from chaos to calm. I've also integrated mindfulness into my routine by setting designated times for it. Whether it's a few minutes in the morning or a short session during lunch, these moments serve as a reset button. They help me recharge and return to my tasks with a clearer mind. It's become a non-negotiable part of my day, and I can't recommend it enough. Lastly, I've discovered that mindfulness doesn't just benefit me. It positively impacts my relationships too. When I'm more present, I'm better able to engage with others and truly listen. This has deepened my connections and created a more supportive environment in both my personal and professional life. Mindfulness has transformed my approach to daily living, and I'm grateful for the calm it brings. Now, let's talk about distractions. In today's digital age, they're practically everywhere, and I found myself losing focus more often than I'd like to admit. Social media, constant notifications, and even multitasking can pull me in a million directions at once. So I made it a priority to identify and minimize these distractions. The first step was to recognize what was stealing my attention. I started by turning off non-essential notifications on my phone. Honestly, it felt liberating. Instead of being interrupted by every ping, I created specific times to check my messages and social media. This simple change allowed me to dive deeper into my work without the constant pull of my devices. I realized that focusing on one task at a time not only improved my productivity but also made the task itself more enjoyable. Another tactic I employed was creating a dedicated workspace. Whether it's a corner in my home or a spot in a coffee shop, having a designated area for work helps signal to my brain that it's time to focus. I decluttered my workspace, removing unnecessary items that could draw my attention away. A clean and organized space creates a more conducive environment for concentration, and I can't emphasize that enough. I also carved out distraction-free time during my day. For example, I use techniques like the Pomodoro technique, where I work in focused bursts followed by short breaks. During those bursts, I put my phone away and close unnecessary tabs on my computer. This commitment to focused work has not only improved my output but also made me feel more accomplished at the end of the day. Lastly, I've learned the power of accountability. I often share my goals and tasks with a friend or colleague, and this little act has been incredibly motivating. Knowing someone else is aware of what I'm working on makes it easier to stay on track. Plus, discussing our progress helps us both stay committed to minimizing distractions. It's a win-win situation, and I've seen the benefits firsthand. By actively limiting distractions, I've created a more focused and productive environment for myself. It's a continuous journey, but each step I take brings me closer to maintaining that concentration throughout my day. When it comes to defining goals, I've learned the hard way that setting realistic and specific targets is crucial. I used to get carried away, dreaming big without grounding my aspirations in reality. It's like reaching for the stars while forgetting that I need a sturdy ladder to get there. Now, I focus on breaking down my larger ambitions into bite-sized, achievable goals. This not only keeps me motivated, but also provides me with a clear roadmap for what needs to be done. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to get fit," I now specify, "I will work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes." This way, I'm not just throwing a vague wish into the universe. I have a tangible target to aim for. Each time I hit that target, I feel a sense of accomplishment, which fuels my motivation to keep going. It's all about those small wins that add up over time and build momentum. Another aspect that I've found helpful is to make sure my goals are measurable. I used to think that just having a goal was enough, but without a way to measure progress, it's easy to lose track. Now I track my progress regularly, whether it's through an app or a simple checklist. This way I can see how far I've come, and that visual reminder is often the push I need to keep pushing forward. Furthermore, I've learned to be flexible with my goals. Life can throw curveballs, and sometimes the goals I set need to be adjusted. I've stopped viewing this as a failure and started seeing it as a necessary part of growth. Being adaptable allows me to stay aligned with my priorities, even when circumstances change. It's about finding that balance between ambition and realism. Lastly, sharing my goals with others has proven beneficial. Whether it's a friend, family member, or colleague, having someone to hold me accountable adds another layer of commitment. It's amazing how much more motivated I feel when I know someone else is aware of what I'm trying to achieve. It creates a support system that encourages me to stay on track. Time management has become a pivotal skill in my life. I used to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks on my plate, but that changed when I discovered various time management techniques. One of my favorites has to be the Pomodoro technique. It's simple, yet incredibly effective. By breaking my work into focused intervals, followed by short breaks, I've found that my productivity has skyrocketed. During those focused intervals, I set a timer for 25 minutes and dedicate that time to a single task. It might sound brief, but the urgency it creates pushes me to dive deep into my work without distractions. When the timer goes off, I take a 5-minute break to recharge. This structured approach prevents burnout and keeps my mind fresh. It's amazing how much I can accomplish in those focused bursts. Another vital aspect of time management is prioritization. I've learned to assess which tasks are truly important and which can wait. By using tools like Eisenhower's matrix, I categorize my tasks into urgent and non-urgent, important and non-important. This clarity helps me focus my energy on what genuinely matters, rather than getting lost in a sea of activities that don't contribute to my goals. I've also started planning my day the night before. Taking a few minutes to outline my tasks for the next day has transformed my mornings from chaotic to calm. I wake up with a clear agenda, which allows me to hit the ground running. Instead of wasting time deciding what to do first, I already have a plan in place, making my workflow more efficient. Lastly, I've embraced the idea of saying no. It's tough sometimes, especially when opportunities come knocking, but I've realized that overcommitting often leads to stress and burnout. By being selective about where I invest my time, I ensure that I can focus on the commitments that align with my goals and values. Time is precious, and managing it wisely is essential for maintaining balance in my life. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, self-care is often the first thing to be neglected. I've finally come to understand that prioritizing my mental and physical health isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Regular exercise has become a cornerstone of my self-care routine. Whether it's hitting the gym, going for a run, or simply taking long walks, moving my body helps clear my mind and boost my mood. I've also discovered the importance of rest. In a culture that glorifies busyness, I used to wear my exhaustion like a badge of honor. However, I've learned that taking time to recharge is essential for sustaining productivity. Whether it's a full night's sleep or a quiet afternoon with a good book, giving myself permission to rest has made a world of difference in my mental clarity and overall well-being. Mindfulness practices have also become an integral part of my self-care regimen. I've dabbled in meditation and found that even just a few minutes of focused breathing can significantly reduce my anxiety levels. It's become a tool I rely on, especially during stressful days. Being present in the moment allows me to step back from my worries and regain perspective. Moreover, I've made a conscious effort to limit my exposure to negativity, whether it's in the form of toxic relationships or overwhelming news cycles. Surrounding myself with supportive and positive people has been transformative. I find that when I prioritize my environment, it has a direct impact on my mental health. Positivity breeds positivity, and it's a cycle I'm eager to maintain. Finally, I've learned that self-care isn't selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. By taking care of myself, I'm better equipped to support those around me. It's a reminder that my health and happiness are vital, not just for me, but for the people I care about. Prioritizing self-care has become a non-negotiable part of my life, and I encourage everyone to find what practices resonate with them and make them a priority. You know, there's something incredibly powerful about having a support system. I've learned over the years that sharing my worries with friends or family can be a game changer. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, just talking to someone who understands can ease that burden. It's like lifting a weight off my shoulders. I remember a time when I was knee-deep in work stress, and a chat with an old friend made me realize I wasn't alone in my struggles. We all have our battles, and sometimes just acknowledging that can bring a sense of relief. But it's not just about sharing problems. It's also about celebrating victories, no matter how small. When I achieve a goal, big or little, having someone to share that moment with amplifies the joy. I've found that these little celebrations with my support group help maintain my motivation. It's a reminder that we're in this together, and it creates a positive feedback loop. They cheer me on, and I do the same for them. It's a mutual lift, and it makes the journey a lot more enjoyable. I also make it a point to surround myself with people who inspire and motivate me. I think about those friends who push me to be better, who challenge me to step out of my comfort zone. Their energy is contagious. Whether it's joining a workout group or participating in a community project, engaging with like-minded individuals creates a sense of belonging and purpose. The support we give each other fosters a culture of accountability, which is crucial for staying focused on our goals. Of course, not every conversation is a deep dive into our feelings. Sometimes, just hanging out and having fun is a form of support too. Laughter can be incredibly healing, and sharing those lighter moments helps balance the weight of our daily lives. I often find that a simple game night or movie marathon with friends can recharge my mental batteries. It's a reminder that life is not solely about the grind. It's about enjoyment and connection. I think it's important to actively seek out this support. We can't always expect it to come knocking on our doors. Sometimes, I have to make the effort to reach out to friends or family, even when I'm feeling low. That first step can be the hardest, but it's often worth it. Building a reliable support network takes time, but once established, it becomes an invaluable resource for navigating life's ups and downs. Life is constantly changing, and so are our priorities and goals. I've learned the hard way that what seemed crucial yesterday might not even be on my radar today. That's why I've made it a habit to regularly reassess my goals and priorities. I try to do this at least once a month. It's a time to sit down, reflect, and ask myself, what's still relevant? What needs to change? This practice has helped me stay aligned with my values and aspirations. When I first started doing this, I was surprised by how much clarity it brought. I would set goals at the beginning of the year thinking they were etched in stone, but as I reviewed them periodically, I realized some no longer resonated with me. It felt freeing to let go of those outdated goals and make space for new ones that matched my current situation. This reassessment process is like spring cleaning for my mind. It clears out the clutter and allows me to focus on what truly matters. During these check-ins, I also evaluate the strategies I'm using to achieve my goals. Are they still effective? Or do I need to pivot? I remember one time I was trying to learn a new skill but wasn't making much progress. After reassessing, I realized my approach wasn't working for me. I switched to a different method, and suddenly, everything clicked. This flexibility in my approach has been key to my growth and productivity. Another aspect I pay attention to is the external environment. Sometimes factors outside my control can affect my goals. Market changes, personal circumstances, or even global events can shift the landscape dramatically. By keeping my priorities flexible, I can adapt to these changes without losing sight of my long-term vision. It's all about staying aware and being willing to adjust when necessary. Lastly, I find that this regular reassessment keeps me motivated. Knowing that I have the power to change my direction if something isn't working instills a sense of control. I'm not just a passenger in my life, I'm the driver. This perspective empowers me to take charge and make informed decisions that align with my evolving self. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's the importance of being flexible. Unexpected twists and turns are inevitable, and my ability to adapt has made all the difference. I remember a time when a major project at work derailed due to unforeseen circumstances. Instead of panicking, I took a step back and reassessed. By being open to change, I managed to pivot my approach and still meet my deadlines. Flexibility isn't just about bending, it's about reshaping my path when necessary. Adaptability also helps me to maintain focus on my long-term goals. It's easy to get sidetracked by immediate challenges, but I've found that staying true to my vision allows me to navigate those bumps more effectively. I often remind myself that the journey is rarely linear. It's filled with ups and downs. When I embrace that reality, I can adjust my strategies without feeling like I'm losing sight of what I want to achieve. One of the practices I've adopted is to view challenges as opportunities for growth. When something unexpected comes my way, I ask myself, what can I learn from this? This mindset shift has transformed how I approach difficulties. Instead of feeling defeated, I feel empowered to find new solutions and innovate. This has led to some of my most creative ideas and breakthroughs. Being adaptable also means being willing to let go of what no longer serves me. Sometimes, I hold on to goals or methods that just aren't working. Acknowledging this and making the necessary changes can be tough, but it's crucial for progress. I've had to learn that it's okay to change my mind and redirect my energy towards something more aligned with my current circumstances. Ultimately, flexibility and adaptability create resilience. When life throws me a curveball, I'm better equipped to handle it without losing my motivation. I've realized that it's not just about the destination, it's about how I navigate the journey. By staying open to change, I can maintain my focus on what truly matters while still being responsive to the world around me. As we navigate through chaos, remember this: the power to choose your focus is always in your hands. Think about it. When everything around you feels like a storm, where do you direct your attention? The Stoics teach us that our thoughts shape our reality. So, ask yourself, what truly matters to you? Is it the noise of the world, or is it the clarity of your purpose? Imagine waking up each day with clarity, knowing exactly what you want to achieve, despite the chaos swirling around you. It's possible. By practicing mindfulness and embracing the present moment, you can cultivate an unwavering focus that cuts through the distractions. But here's a challenge. What's one small action you can take today to reclaim your focus? Whether it's a few minutes of meditation, writing down your goals, or simply stepping away from the noise, take that step. And I want to hear from you. What techniques do you use to stay focused in turbulent times? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's build a community that thrives on resilience and purpose. Remember, chaos may be inevitable, but your focus is a choice. Keep it sharp. Keep it intentional. Let's conquer the chaos together. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found value in it, please consider subscribing to the Millennial Stoicism channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you insights on Stoic philosophy and its application in modern life. I encourage you to drop the word focus in the comments if you're committed to maintaining your clarity and purpose in the midst of chaos. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Let's build a community of resilient thinkers together. Reflection from Marcus Aurelius. As we navigate through chaos, remember this: the power to choose your focus is always in your hands. When everything around you feels like a storm, direct your attention to what truly matters. The noise of the world is temporary, but the clarity of your purpose is enduring. Keep your focus sharp, intentional, and unwavering. In doing so, you conquer the chaos and shape your reality. Until the next video,